We're now approaching a time when there will be the biggest transfer of wealth that has ever occurred in global investment markets. We will see a fall of the bubble assets. That includes obviously tech stocks, normal stocks, property, and obviously government bonds are going to become virtually worthless. Very recently, Microsoft made a new high and is now valued above $4 trillion. Just remember that all the gold in the world held by central banks is valued at just under $4 trillion, around $3.8 trillion. So all the gold in the world that is backing the whole of the monetary system is valued at a lower value than Microsoft, because Microsoft is not the only company above 4 trillion. Also, Nvidia is at that level. Just take 4 trillion valuation. The whole of the UK stock market is valued at around $4 trillion. So one US company, or actually two, Nvidia and Microsoft, those two together are valued at a level which is more than the total of the UK stock exchange. It shows you there is something totally wrong with valuations here, and also not just of stocks, but also of the dollar. We are going to see, just like in '99, we're going to see a major fall in tech stocks and in general markets. I remember '99 well. I was involved with a tech company in the UK. I was a partner there. I told the founder, we have to sell in the beginning of 2000. We sold to a NASDAQ quoted company that later on first went down 80-90% and then went bankrupt. I think we're going to see a similar situation now, certainly in the tech companies and also in the general market. So this is the absolute opportune time to switch out of tech stocks, out of bubble markets, overvalued markets with PEs of 30, 40, 50, 60 and higher, and into gold, which at the current price of around $3,300 is extremely low compared to what we will see in coming years, because central banks around the world, especially Eastern and Southern central banks, are now gradually moving into gold in a bigger way and selling their US treasuries and dollar assets. We also see all the BRICS countries moving into gold. So gold will get strong demand now in the coming months and years, and I expect it to go up by multiples, because there is not more gold to be produced in the world than the 3,000 tons a year, which is already absorbed before major demand starting. So the only way that the market can fulfill the coming demand for gold will be a higher price, not by a higher quantity. And we're going to see that. But of course, gold fulfills two roles, wealth preservation and wealth enhancement. In our view, we think wealth enhancement is going to be the most important of those two factors, because we think that the financial system is extremely high risk now. We think that it could potentially collapse, and that includes especially the banking system, which is going to get into trouble in the next few years. So owning physical gold and storing it outside the banking system and having direct access to it, and also storing it in a jurisdiction which is outside the country where you live, especially if you live in a country like the US with deficits. The US has trade deficit, budget deficit, a weak dollar. It is very likely that there will be capital controls in the US. I wouldn't be surprised if that happened in the next few months. And at that point, you will not be able to transfer assets out of the US. Instead, you probably will be forced to use part of your savings to buy US treasuries, which are, as I said before, probably going to be worthless, because the country can never repay its debt. And with the high borrowing requirements that the US has, interest rates will go up substantially, which means that the value of the bonds will go down substantially. It's an opportunity to actually protect yourself by getting out of the bubble assets and to actually enhance your wealth, probably by multiples. But the important thing is not to think about how much money you can make. It's really how to protect yourself from losing a lot of money, because that is what 95% of investors will do in the next few years. They will lose a major part of their gain because they're going to hang on to the stock markets. Instead, you have an opportunity to acquire an asset which is going to be bought by most of the central banks to an extent that nobody fathoms today. There is also another market, of course, which is very interesting now, which is the silver market. The silver market will probably lead this move. It normally does in a precious metals bull market. Silver moves faster. Caesar. So we will probably see silver not very far from now going up past the $50 that it was in 1980 already, and that it was in 2011. We're going to go past that $50 and to much, much higher levels for silver also. Silver is more volatile, so don't have a high percentage of silver. Have more gold than silver. We recommend about 70-30 gold, silver. We think that in order to sleep at night, it's good not to have too much silver in relation to gold. To summarize, Shakespeare said in Julius Caesar, there is a moment in the life of people when they have to make a choice and take the right current. I'm paraphrasing Shakespeare here, but you have to take the right current. If you take the wrong one, it will lead to miseries, and if you take the right one, it will lead to fortune. That's where we are now, in my view, an incredibly important point in history when it comes to assets and protection of wealth, and the potential also of enhancing wealth. So please protect yourself, protect your family, own some gold, physical, obviously, store it outside the banking system, and own some silver, and then enjoy life as much as you can. Thank you.